Is there a wrong way to build Beast Gohan? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan battle video. In today's video, we are taking a look at the LR Beast Gohan over on JP Dokkan for the 9th anniversary part 2, and we're checking out how to build this guy's hidden potential. After all, this guy kinda does it all. I mean, we thought part 1 was far and away the best units in the games, and then Beast Gohan shows up and blows all of that out of the water. But you may find yourself wondering, well then, what is the best hidden potential build, especially if you went and pulled a dupe of him? So let's go ahead, let's hop on in, let's take a look at what he's doing, remind ourselves. So he is a superheroes bond master disciple miraculous awakening category key 3 HP attack defense 170%, and an additional 30% for characters who also belong on the entrusted will or movie heroes category. On his 18 key, he is greatly raising attack and raising defense for 4 turns and causing mega colossal damage. On his 12 key, he is greatly raising attack for the turn and raising defense for 1 turn. Now he does have a unit ultra super attack, which greatly raises his attack and raises his defense for 4 turns, as it did on his 18 key. However, now he's also increasing the allies' critical hit rate for 20% for 1 turn, as well as disabling the enemy's action. So very, very helpful there. So, and that as long as you have a Piccolo on the team, as long as it's not Piccolo Jr. or Demon King Piccolo, it will activate. So now, on his passive, right? Because the passive is going to want to determine what we want to build him. He has an interest animation that activates once only. It gives him key 8 and a chance of performing a critical hit and reduce damage received by 40% for 5 turns for the first appearance. He gets key 3 attack and defense 250% and guards all attacks for ever, right? That's just like they gave him 40% damage reduction and guard. That essentially means that for 5 turns nothing can kill him. He has an additional attack 50% when attacking, and gets an additional chance to perform a critical hit 20% when you get the 24 key. He also has an additional defense 80% and reduces damage received by 20% when key is 24 when receiving an attack. So if you get the 24 key and he takes a hit in slot 1, that's 60% damage reduction. He also gets an additional key 1 per key sphere obtained. He has an additional super attack and allies key 3 for the turn other than this character after receiving an attack. So he gives key to allies as well. Very, very helpful. He also gets key 1 per attack received, max of 5. He has an additional attack and chance of performing a critical hit 20% per attack received during the turn. He also has an additional chance of performing a critical hit and reduces damage received by 20%, and all allies key 2 starting from the turn in which he has performed his 5th attack or receives the 8th attack. So he has the possibility of getting up to 80% damage reduction, but more likely by the time you get that last 20% damage reduction, you know, the first 40 have already elapsed, so you're back down to 40, right? Assuming you can keep up the 24 key in slot 1. So I mean, there's that, and the guy is basically untouchable. Now you can see he's got a lot of critical hit here, which means more or less critical hit is out of the question for him. Now, that also drives us to what we need to put for his hidden potential. So, he is an STR type, which means he has a natural critical hit chance, right? He will always have an innate 5 critical hit if you don't invest any critical hit into them. However, if you go full critical hit, he can get a max of 20, which gives him an extra 40%. Now, he does not need that as an STR unit. So, in my personal opinion, the best potential route to go for him is probably additional attack, right? So if you have dupes, invest the most of your orbs into additional attack. As an STR type, this will give him a 15% increase, or a 15 node increase, which will increase his chance by 30%, right? That 30% can be further increased if you equip him with any equipment skill orbs to increase that further, right? You know, if you got a level 5 silver and a level 5 gold, that could put him up to 25, which will put him at about 42% critical hit rate, which is pretty good when you consider all, additional attack rate, which is pretty good when you consider all that he has there. Now, that leaves open, what do you do with the rest of those open nodes, right? Do we give him crit? Do we give him dodge? Honestly, that's a call up to you. As an STR type, let's say you fill out both dupes, you would be giving him a total of 15 extra nodes in evasion, which would net to a 15 increase in dodge. Now, it's 15% he didn't have before, but again, looking back at his passive, he wants to be hit, right? He needs to be hit in order to gain that additional key and that additional damage reduction, but he also gets a bunch of attack for getting hit every time he receives a hit, right? So he kind of doesn't want to dodge. So, I mean, granted, that's only a 15% increase. You won't be seeing the dodge that often. That 1 or 2 dodges you do get may be the difference between finishing an enemy one turn or not, and then allowing the enemy to counter attack. So, I don't really think dodge is the best. I would honestly just slap him in a critical hit, even though he doesn't need it. He's got plenty of critical hit through his passive. I would say go full additionals and sub critical hits, simply because he doesn't need the dodge. He can't get... He can't take damage, right? We have seen in the showcases from the hardest bosses in the games, he does not take damage, but you need him to get hit. So there's almost no reason to go dodge on this character for that reason. It's just, it doesn't make much sense given what he needs. Granted, critical hit is completely useless on him given his passive, especially if you're running Piccolo on the team. It's still better than not being able to pick up those additional attacks. So guys, that is it for the video. Very short one here today. That is the hidden potential suggestions for LR Beast Gohan. We may update this when this comes to global, as we've had more play testing with him, but for now, upon testing him, I'm going to go with additionals being his best build, supplemental with critical hit. There is no need for dodge on this character because you need him to get hit. So guys, that's it for the video. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let me know, what is your best hidden potential for Beast Gohan? You know, sometimes people like to mix it up. I would like to hear what you guys think is the best potential build for Beast Gohan. Let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.